Good morning, Madam President. The easy thing to do would just be to vote and move on. One, I won't take forever to say what I have to say, but some of my colleagues know that I have struggled with this vote today. And I think some people would be like, you're struggling with that vote, but I have. And I will tell you that July is an interesting month for me because, as I've talked probably almost incessantly about, particularly when we get closer and closer to it, it's the month my mother passed, right? And in this month, I think a lot about her. I think people who've been here for a while know where I place my mother. And one thing she always was key about was making sure that I did the right thing. So, in getting to this moment, I'm trying to figure out what the right thing is. I was having trouble, right? Not that I don't believe in science. It's not that I don't, despite what Senator Kissel just said, it's not that I don't even believe that there's a public safety threat. Because I even heard this morning that 99.2% of the people who are vaccinated are not the ones getting COVID and dying, right? It's that 0.8% are those people, the 99.2% are the people who are not vaccinated. So largely the people who are vaccinated are, if they experience this, it doesn't mean they're going to have death, but there are people who aren't vaccinated. Those are our children. As Senator Looney talked about, those are people with immunocompromise. And I'm trying to figure out in this space where I felt like, we could do the things that the governor is saying he wants to do. We as a legislature can figure out how to do those things and not extend the power that the governor is asking for. What is the right thing to do? But see, you meet this moment as it is. And in this moment, that's not on the table. What's on the table is what is actually before us. And what's before us feels like it's too much like right, but not quite right, right? It feels like, I know we use that term differently, but it feels like it's really close to right, but not quite right, because we could do this a different way. But you meet the moment as it is. And so, as I'm sitting here trying to wrap my head around what it is I should be doing, I'm also thinking about the message we hear. The message we hear is we need tools in case. Now, some people think, because I've talked to some of my colleagues, some people think I'm angry about the veto that happened recently. Sure, I'm angry about that. I think that's not the right policy. I think this chamber passed a bill that had votes on both sides of the aisle, and it should have kept going forward, but water under the bridge. But there's something that connects to that population that didn't happen in this building as well. Because see, we were in the moment of COVID, and when we were in the moment of COVID, we were saying, hey, we got people in our congregate settings who are exposed to COVID, and we can't do anything about that in some of our settings, the settings being the prisons. But this chamber passed a bill to deal with that. This chamber sent the bill down to the House below us. And the administration said, hey, we don't want that, and that bill didn't move forward. And what we were saying there was not, you have to let those people out. That's not what we were saying. We were saying, here's the ability, should you need to let those people out. Now that one I'm angry about, and that one I feel in this moment, because what I'm being told is we need this power in order to deal with possibilities. And we took a possibility and said we don't need the power to deal with the possibility. And so I said it was easy just to vote, right? Because you don't say certain things and you don't upset people, but the truth is important. And that same population that we just vetoed the ability to not experience the psychological impacts, we said during COVID, we can't let you out because the compassionate and medical release statutes don't let you. There was a fix written, and we said we don't need that tool. That matters. It matters a lot. Because what we do with that population says a lot about who we are. And I get it, the governor has done a lot of the things we want, but also let's be real, that many of these executive orders didn't happen because we needed it right away. It happened through a process that wasn't immediate. It happened through a process that legislators weighed in on. And with all of that said, people would think, well, you must be saying you're going to vote against it. But the important thing to understand is those young people are important. Those people who are immunocompromised are important. As much as I've struggled with this, and as much as it's too much like right, the other decision for me is not quite right. And so I don't like how we got here. I don't like the way this is played out. But I think it's the right thing, or at least close enough to the right thing, to vote for this. But I would say this. There are conversations that are not happening that need to happen. There are conversations that we've always known that don't happen across the aisle, but there are conversations up and down that aren't happening that need to happen. We're going to have the possibility of variants. That's what viruses do. If we're going to protect the public safety, we don't need to be sitting here with people who should be saying yes, out the gate, struggling. Those conversations need to happen. So thank you, Madam President, for allowing me to speak. I will be voting in favor. Thank you.